is the Channeling Symposium. I am so honored to have 11 wonderful spiritual teachers and channelers with me today. I think we're going to have a fantastic time. I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for everybody to get in touch with ways that they can connect with their own higher selves and with ascended masters, angels, spirit guides, light beings, etc., for themselves. So this is really a presentation that includes a lot of different ways of channeling. And I hope that everybody will get some ideas for how they can progress for themselves on their spiritual paths in new ways. So when we talk about channeling, we're generally talking about accessing sort of a stream of consciousness. Usually when people are talking about channelers, you're talking about Jane Roberts or Cryon, etc., where people are speaking and wisdom is coming through them from some higher source. But I want to let you know that that's not the only way that channeling takes place, although that's what people are usually referring to, and that can be done either in trance or as a conscious channel. There are many other ways of channeling. So one of the ways is through automatic writing. Another way is when you're healing. Many of the people here are Reiki masters or energy healers, and when you're doing any kind of healing like that, you're channeling healing energy. You're actually channeling higher vibrational energy for the purpose of healing. I teach mediumship, and we mediums are also channeling. In that particular arena, we're channeling the energies of the spirits of those that we love on the other side. But that's a form of channeling as well. Even when I'm teaching, when I'm really in the moment and getting into the swing of teaching, a lot of times I feel like there's wisdom sort of flowing through me from a higher plane, and that's channeling as well. So, not too long ago, I have a group that's called Translating Spirit, and what I do is I teach developing mediums, people who are awakening. And one of the days that we were in the group, there was a whole bunch of anger coming up in the group. Now, while I don't usually consider myself a channeler, I'm more of a medium, like I said, I do access wisdom from higher levels. So that day, what I did was I set the intention to connect with higher wisdom, and I sat down with a pen and I asked the question out loud. Why is the question of anger coming up? Why is the subject of anger coming up in the group? And suddenly this wisdom started to flow through me, and I wrote it down. So I wanted to share that with you. This is an example of automatic writing, or a channeled writing, let's say. Automatic writing can be done in trance, but this was, I was fully conscious, but I didn't know what I was about to write next. So you understand, it was just this message flowing through me onto the paper. But I was completely conscious and aware of what I was writing at the time. It just was coming from a higher realm. It was not from my personality that the wisdom came. So this was the answer. It said, we want you to realize that letting your emotions flow is directly connected to your power of manifestation. It is time to uncover any blocks so that you are better able in the future to manifest the life and the world of your dreams. Once you have connected with the source of the anger, what's underneath it, it is time to address it by bringing life back into alignment, by forgiving yourself and others, and by actively working to replace the vibration of anger once it has been expressed and healed with a more positive signal. We use the word signal here because it is precisely the signal that you send out into the universe through your emotions, which will be returned to you. You signal to the universe the reality you wish to experience. When you are ready to experience abundance, send out the vibration of gratitude. Remember, simply ask and the door shall be opened unto you. What you seek is also seeking you. Those are quotes. And as you have seen, those who vibrate at your frequency have been drawn to you so that you may manifest more powerfully together. As you have witnessed, your needs are being met before you form the words. Confirmation of your connectedness to the world beyond 3D has already been in place prior to your request for confirmation. We know your needs, we know your hearts, and blessings are flowing freely to you, light workers. Your decision to volunteer for this important mission is being rewarded. You simply have yet to open fully to the flow of abundance that is your very nature. Greetings from the council. So that was an example of inspired writing. And I would like to invite everybody, before I pass the torch to the 11 other channelers in the group that have wisdom to share with you, I would like to invite everybody that's listening to do a little bit of connecting for themselves. So if you would indulge me, if everybody would just take a moment to center themselves. It helps if you have your back straight and your feet on the floor. I like to put my palms up in my lap because it's a receptive position. And I would like for everybody just to take a deep breath and relax. And just allow yourself to come to center. And get in touch with that being within you that is eternal and that goes way beyond the physical. And as you continue to relax, and as you continue to breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in white light. And as you exhale, white light begins to surround you. And those of you who are familiar with working with spirit, you may begin to feel the touch of spirit around you. If you're less familiar, just be aware of any sensations, perhaps changes in air pressure, perhaps tingling, maybe a change in temperature. As you continue to relax. And it's helpful to imagine that from the soles of your feet, you have roots growing down deep into the earth, connecting you and grounding you. And from way above the top of your head, imagine that there is sparkling white light shining down upon you, shining all around you, coming right in through the top of your head. And beginning to fill every cell in your body with healing white light. And just imagine in your mind's eye, your entire body beginning to glow. And as we set the intention to connect with only the highest vibrational energies, and as we feel ourselves surrounded by our spirit guides and the angels and archangels, take a moment to enjoy that feeling of basking in that spiritual energy. Knowing that you're surrounded by unconditional love and that you have the support of the spirit world as you progress on your journey. The next step is, while you are in this state of being connected with higher vibrational energy and open to receiving the wisdom that is all around you and that is available to you as a spiritual being and as an eternal soul, take a moment and ask a question, perhaps just what it's most important for you to know in this moment to help you on your spiritual path. And then just allow yourself to trust and receive the answer that comes. And if you'd like to take, I'll give you a couple of minutes to write down whatever thoughts pop into your head, whatever bubbles into your consciousness. And you may be surprised at the wisdom in your words. Just take a moment to write what is most important for me to know in this moment about my spiritual journey, or a question of your own design. And when you're ready, allow yourself to become aware of the chair you're sitting in and bring your consciousness back to the room. And you can allow yourself to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you may allow them to open. Some of you are meditating. I know some of you are writing. Okay. So I hope that you guys were all able to tap into a little wisdom for yourselves and feel that connection, feel that change in energy around you, whether that's tingling or air pressure or temperature or whatever changes. I think it's really helpful to note those subtle changes that alert you to the presence of spirit, to being in the flow. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to pass the baton to Zane Wheeler. We have quite a lineup here, by the way. We have Zane Wheeler, Shanice Sproul, Liza Jane Wolfe, Kat Meyer, Stacy Overman, Nicole Wayne, Daniel McNicholas, Vanessa Vlahakis, Kat Wanders, and David Strickle, all here to talk to you guys today. So up first is Zane Wheeler, and he has a group called Healing Through Conscious Coaching. Zane, take it away.
Thanks, Cheryl. That was a great exercise. I really appreciate that. It's a great way to start this, and I really appreciate you organizing this whole thing. So thanks again for that. This is really cool to bring this to the masses as much as possible. I think channeling is an important aspect of what we do as humans. It happens every single day in beautiful, beautiful ways. We have this intuition that is just full of abundance. Can everyone hear me okay? We're good? Okay, good. And as a clinical hypnotherapist and spiritual coach, what I do is, and this is the big secret, guys, is that hypnosis is meditation. I'm just a meditative coach, so the secret's out. But what's cool about that is that I'm able to help people sort of get in touch with that intuition and connect with that higher source. I do it in a much sort of more protected way. Instead of invoking other intelligences into the body, what I help my clients do is see what they're working with already, right? And to both invoke and evoke their own personal archetypes in their inner world of the subconscious, to be able to gain some self-knowledge, create a foundation of self-trust, and from that foundation build a beautiful life of self-love, right? So that's my goal. So when it really boils down, I'm just a self-love coach, and I'm really, really humbly able to accept that title, which is really, really cool. So what I want to do with you guys today is I want to help you kind of look at some of the mental archetypes you might be working with a little bit. We're going to invoke a mental archetype to provoke and then evoke the opposition of that archetype, okay? And in a couple exercises that we can do to kind of come to understand ourselves a little bit and see what we're working with throughout the day. So we're going to tune into the mental plane, and we're going to, again, invoke some mental archetypes that you could be working with. And the reason we would do that, and the reason I do that with my clients, is, again, to incite a arena of self-communication, to come to understand yourself a little bit better, okay? So it's not bringing in intelligences from outside of us. Many people on here do that already, but this is something, again, that you're working with within yourself. When we talk about invocation versus evocation, I think it's important to sort of, figure out and delineate what those two differences are. Invocation is inviting in, of course, that's how I remember it. Evocation is sending an evite to come join the party, right? To summon forward something outside of yourself to come speak with, right? So that's kind of how I like to think about those two things. So, and the way I help people do that is to, inspire within them almost maybe some conflict, to see where their distortions are in their person. And if we can identify that conflict, then that's 80% of the battle. All we really need to do then is kind of just talk with ourselves, right? So if you would for me, go ahead and close your eyes again. We're gonna go into a lighter state, okay? And what we're gonna do is, I would just like you to focus and slow your breath a bit, just like we did a moment ago, okay? And we're gonna connect to that element of source within us, that undying peace, that eternal peace, right? But to really just illuminate the mental plane, okay? So if you can start to slow your breath, focus your breath a bit. And there's an old tantric technique that I like to use when I meditate, which is to restrict the air entering into the body and leaving. So it's almost as though you're creating with your throat, by restricting the muscles a bit, you're creating waves, and you can almost hear the ocean beneath your ears and your throat. So it's almost like a hum or a wheeze. So as you start to create those waves of that ocean, moving onto the beach, moving back into the beautiful body of the ocean, recognize that you focusing on the muscles of your throat in the body is the mind and body coming together. You're attaining a sense of mindfulness, and you're able to sort of start to see what the inner workings of you are, right? So when we experience mindfulness, it's beautiful to be able to just watch ourselves think, watch ourselves be, watch ourselves express ourselves in all those ways. And the principle that I like to work with with my clients is to imagine that pure consciousness, as it filters through our soul, filters through our persona, it's a prismatic event. So it splinters pure consciousness. It creates personality parallels, right? And all of these parallel personalities become archetypes or masks that we wear on an everyday basis. So it's important to know exactly what these archetypes are doing for us or against us, right? We want to recognize if these archetypes are out of alignment with us. It's almost like we need to establish a strong foundation of leadership within us before we become leaders on the outside, okay? And that takes self-communication. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to invoke the optimist, all right? So we're gonna start to have those beautiful thoughts that everything's going well in my life. I'm so excited with the movement forward, the progression of my life. I feel amazing. So starting to feel and breathe in those aspects and create that archetype for yourself. Just embody that archetype of deep, deep optimism. And as you begin to feel and experience that blessed optimism, we're going to take just a minute to breathe in that optimism. Right. So as we breathe in that optimism, as we experience that side of ourselves, what's generally going to happen is an oppositional force begins to arise. And that's fine, right? This is a dual nature. This is a dual nature event. This is a dual universe. So we want to recognize that there's opposition that exists, but it's a good thing, right? This is the balance that we try to find. But if there's an imbalance there, we're going to notice that that's coming forward. So what generally comes forward to oppose the eternal optimist is the critic, okay? And this is a great way to incite a connection with the critic. And what I want you to do is as you breathe in those waves of optimism, I'd like you to imagine that someone is coming forward in your inner vision. A face, a name, someone from your past, perhaps you at a different time in your life is starting to show themselves. Someone that represents the critic, someone that represents that voice that says, you know what, you're not going to do it. It's not going to be accomplished. You're not going to make that happen, okay? And I want you to recognize that that is a good thing. We want to find the opposition to be able to see clearly who it is, right? And if we have an understanding of who that is, that's when we can start self-communication, and that's what's beautiful. So notice yourself channeling the optimist and provoking and evoking the critic within you, the one that opposes that optimism, okay? The one that says, nope, you can't do it based on something from your past. You're not able to do this, okay? And I want you just to take note of who that may be, what they may look like, what version of you that may be. And so that later you can come back into your own meditation and you can connect with that part of you and say, okay, this is my critic archetype. So it's great to be able to see you. You're going to welcome them to the conversation. You're going to say hello to them, thank them for being there. And you're going to say, you know what? There is a need that has been unmet within you. What is that need? What can I do for you to help you just quiet down and join the party, right? What if we can stop the chatter and start the conversation, right? So this critic just needs to be addressed. So what we're doing here in this exercise is just recognizing who that critic is, okay? And I want you just to take note of who that is. And if you want to just take just a moment and say, you know what? I need to know what your need is that has been unmet. Why are you holding me back, okay? So let's just take a moment. We can ask that question and see what comes to you, just as we did in Cheryl's exercise. Let's just sit back and be receptive and see what that need is that has gone unmet in that critic. Just take a moment and breathe into that. And perhaps the critic is aligned with you maybe, and that's good. But what we're going to do is we're going to seek out any distortion within that critic, any corruption within that critic, any aspect of that critic that is, out of alignment with your common good, with you actually progressing, right? We want the critic to truly align with the optimist. So that conversation can then ensue, which is to say that, okay, I've heard your need. What can we do to augment the contract between the two of us, between me, my high self, you, the critic? What can we do to move forward and help you join this team, critic, right? So this is the kind of thing we're looking for. So sitting in a state of receptivity and starting to feel and kind of work your way into that conversation and just see how that feels to be able to find some sort of resolution, right, in this conflict. And maybe just gleaning some inspiration is fine. You can take that with you into a meditation later. That's great. So what we're going to do then is we're going to just take note of what has happened, okay? I know this is brief, but it's important to know who the critic is, what they may need from you, and then you can continue the conversation later. So make sure that you take note of this. What we're going to do next is I want you to shake off that optimist and recognize that we're going to sort of, lock that away in your heart, feel that optimism burning inside of you, because this is a beautiful day. We're all getting together for this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to recognize that we can bring into us that divine essence of that beautiful little child that lives within, okay? I want you to find that child inside of you. What we're going to do is we're going to gravitate toward that little child that perhaps might have a wound from a certain time in your life. I'm not sure what age that would be, okay? And maybe you don't know either, but I'd like you to start to imagine what a number would look like if it flashed before you of the age where you have a wound that needs to be addressed, okay? And we're going to start to channel the little child inside. And as you intuit that number, that age, I'd like you just to feel your body shrinking to the size of that body that you were in at that age, okay? Becoming that little one. And I want you to feel that optimism, that excitement, the joy, creativity, innocence flowing through you that the little child exhibits, the little child brings into your adult life every day anyway, right? But what we want to do again is incite some opposition, figure out what this distortion is that this little child carries, because the wound that this little child carries is your wound, right? Your heart is their heart. Everything they feel, you feel. They are your emotions, right? This little child. So as you embody them, as you step into their body, as you invoke them and become them, notice in your body right now, as that child, where that pain is. Notice where that distortion is. Notice where you feel it the most, okay? Just tune into that part of your body. Maybe in the tummy, it's maybe in the solar plexus, the heart, any of the chakral areas. I'm not sure, but start to notice where that weight is, that just a mild sensation of something that hurts, right? We're going to go ahead and place our hands over that place if you'd like to, just noticing that one place where that pain is. It's okay. It's okay, little one. It's okay to know where that pain is. What I want you to do, little one, is I want you to begin to breathe in through the top of your head, that beautiful, beautiful light that Cheryl helped us find a minute ago. And I want you to allow that light to begin to fill that area. And as it illuminates the shadow in that area, I'd like you to just imagine that the shadow is starting to bleed away, just burn away, to fall away beneath you. Down that beautiful cord you found, or down that tree trunk, or down those roots that you established. Just imagine it falling away. And as it begins to break down and drain away, little one, maybe it can show you where it came from. Maybe it can show you and help you understand the moment or the series of moments where you collected that trauma, where you collected that wound, right? And you can know, as your little self, you can know and intuit perhaps where that all started, who it was that hurt you or gave you that wound. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding, and that's okay too. And if you can find that deep within you, that understanding, that answer to where this came from, that's okay. Just look at it, be with it, sit with it, and let the pain, let the superficial pain drain away right now. The deep pain you can work on later. You can go back and help yourself heal later on. But for right now, let's just let that pain drain away. And as you feel as though the weight, the distortion of that pain is starting to drain away, to fall beneath you as that light fills you, notice that you're surrounded by that light. Notice that you're held, nurtured, completed by that light, okay? And as that light helps you form yourself, I'd like you to feel yourself beginning to grow beginning to age, beginning to come back to your adult self ever so slowly, breathing in that light as you let more and more of that pain go. And perhaps come to understand a little bit more about where that pain came from, just to get some answers, just to go back to be able to work on it later. And this is, of course, you channeling your little child and allowing yourself to grow from that place. Because knowing what age it starts at, right? Knowing where that pain could have come from, again, is 80% of the battle. All you need to do later is go back in a meditation and see where it began, right? Find some forgiveness in your heart for yourself or for the perpetrator or whatever happened to you, and help to heal that side of you. You guys are amazing light workers. You know how to heal yourself. So, but it's good to know where we can start, right? So breathing into that adult self now, collect all of that beautiful nature into yourself, collect all of that verve, all of that excitement, all of that innocence and joy and creativity that the child has brought you now. The child might be a little bit more healed. So what can happen now is that is the base of your emotions, right? The child is you, your emotional self, right? Everything that they feel, good, bad, indifferent, filters through your heart, right? Their heart is yours. So each and every morning now, take a moment and give that child some love. Start the day off right. And as you love that child, so too will you be loved, because the love that you give to that child echoes through the ages into your heart, because their heart is yours. So remember that each and every morning, giving them that love. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I want to say I do one-on-one coaching, and the website is goldenroadalchemy.com. So you guys can check me out there. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Very beautiful scene. Very nice. Okay, next up is Shernice Sproul. Shernice channels archangels and ascended masters, and she has a Facebook group called Awakening Angel Channelers. Shernice?
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. And again, Cheryl, thank you so much for this. One little thing I just wanted to share to everyone is definitely move around when you get a chance. I've yawned about 10 times already. I usually yawn when the energy is moving, and there's a lot of light here meant for you. So basically, I have a group called Awakening Angel Channelers. And the reason I created that group is because when I became a channel about, I'd say in 2010, I was not trying to become a channel. I was just working on my spiritual growth. I was really amazed with interacting with the universe and understanding what things meant, and it was really beautiful. And then all of a sudden I started having some very interesting and odd physical symptoms. My throat chakra, when I would go to bed at night, my throat chakra would shut down. It felt like I was being choked. There were times when my limbs started moving. It was just a very, very unique time. It was a wonderful time because of how I was growing on my spiritual journey, but it was very confusing because even though my vibration was so high, I was having very odd experiences. There were times I felt like I had vertigo, which I've never had. And eventually I found out that this was my transition process for becoming a channeler of divine energies. I caught colds lots of times, which I usually didn't do. I must have had like 7 or 8 colds one season. And so what I began to realize is that with ascension energies affecting everything on the planet right now, these vibrations that are rising are affecting all of us and helping upgrade our bodies into the bodies that we're going to be using, light bodies in the 4th and 5th dimensions. And so what I realized is that it's more than likely possible that there's at least one other person who is out there on planet Earth going, why did my right shoulder just start moving up and down? Why am I experiencing all these strange physical symptoms? And so my group is basically to help people realize what's going on, why it's happening, and to help guide them through the process of becoming a channel. Because if you are in the process of becoming a channel, it's such a beautiful, beautiful gift. Whether you do automatic typing, whether you do inspired writing, whether you channel vocally. I'm a conscious channel, and I'll give you an example of this later on. Regardless of what it is absolutely amazing to be able to connect with Source and then provide either healing energy or healing information to people that can shift their lives ultimately. It can either shift something very minuscule that they're worried about and just make their day better, or it can be a full-on, oh my God, you've totally healed my life. But it's the most beautiful thing. And the thing about the process of becoming a channel, and not all channels go through this process, not all channels channel the same way. So I'm really just helping a kind of a specific type of channel. But the thing is, when you're doing this, this is part of who you are. I believe this is part of who you were before you incarnated. Like, you knew you were going to come down to planet Earth, you were going to have certain experiences, and then at some point when your vibration got to a certain level, ta-da, you're going to start you're going to start the process of transitioning into who you are so that you can finish your life journey or complete your life's mission in the way that brings you the most joy, that is a great service. It's really beautiful. But like I said before, some of the experiences in the process are very odd and can be very scary, and can also cause us to shut down. And while I believe shutting down is an amazing gift, because it really is, if you're in a scary situation, it's a great way to protect yourself. And it's wonderful to know that at whatever time you can just go, stop, I'm done. But if this is part of what is going to bring your life a level of meaning that you never experienced, if this is that you've never experienced before, this is what's going to be part of how you serve and just light so many people up, then I want to help people not shut down. So that is what my group is about. And just another beautiful thing is that I'm so grateful that my own mentor didn't shut down. She was even contemplating suicide at one point, but I'm so glad that she didn't, because she's amazing anyway, but because of all the benefits, all the ways that she's touched my life and all of the lives of the people that have worked with her. And I know there are so many people out there that are burgeoning channels as well, and they're gonna touch so many people. And if I can be of service to help these people stay open and not shut down and not prolong being on their mission, then that's like such a huge gift for me. So basically the thing that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do some light language and angelic toning, and then I'm going to channel Archangel Uriel. And light language and angelic toning are basically a pure frequency type of way to deliver healing energy without using the mind, without using, there's no interference from your ego or your mental at all, with the exception of the fact that it might sound very odd and you're wondering, is this really happening? Is this doing anything? But the truth is, it's a very beautiful way to just allow yourself to receive energy and to allow the parts of yourself that know what to do with this energy to do that. So if you would all just close your eyes and make sure your feet are planted very firmly, and just take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. And Cheryl did a very beautiful grounding for us, so I'm just going to start with the angelic toning. Inyalata, yasata, iniolo ia, e ia, inia, ala ta, eso, eso, e. Aya, ianata, eosianawa, ia, 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 ha, inyalata, yaka, yoloto, inyasa, atala, inya, ahana, aliatasa, yo. Yes, 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 very good, dear ones, very good. Yes, we are Archangel Uriel. When we work with Shanice, we refer to ourselves as a we because she does a meditation to also connect with your highest guides before any session, so that the energy that we bring through and the information that we bring through is going to support you in the highest way possible, regardless of whether you are watching this live or you're watching this recording later. So one of the really important things that we would like to mention is very powerfully connected to Zane's saying about coaching with self-love. It is really important to realize that love for yourself, for your being, is literally the panacea. You are moving now from the third to the fourth and fifth dimensions. You will not be taking anything else with you. The things in your word may end up looking the same later on, but what we mean is the most important thing from your world to move from the third to fourth and fifth dimensions is you. And there is a certain level of vibration that is the basis, the absolute basis of emotions there. There is no hate, there is no anger. There is a certain level of love for yourself that is absolutely necessary and an absolute requirement for the ascension. Everything around you, of course, is a mirror of what is going on inside of you. So when you see someone outside of you that pushes your buttons, it is a blessing because it is referencing energy that is within your energy field, whether acquired from this lifetime or a previous lifetime, but there's something that needs to be addressed. Because when the ascension energies are rising, you are literally infusing your body, or your body is being infused with great light. What happens if there is an object, we're going to, for this example, say a dark object, or it doesn't even really need to be dark, but basically when there is a great light and you have an object, a block, a wound, what that does is behind the wound, you're going to see a darker and darker shadow. So you increase the light, the shadow is darker and darker. And so what this means is the wounded areas in your being that have not been healed yet are going to, you're going to experience them as more challenging than they need be. So when you direct love to your shadow side, to your light side, to just direct love to yourself, you really begin to heal all of the energy that is within your energetic field, all of the energy that is connected to you, and that out pictures differently. And it's really sort of like a feedback loop, because you're feeling good, you have transmuted these blocks within you, you look around you, people are smiling, people are giving you flowers, and you're feeling wonderful, and then it makes you feel even more wonderful, and then you radiate more love, and that really shifts your entire vibration. So it's one of those things. We know you would all love to love yourself more, but it is sort of, we're going to say, a divine imperative, but it can and will be fun, dear one. So what we're going to say is the best thing we would love for you to do, the easiest thing for you to do when working on loving yourself and shifting your vibration, is just doing things that make you happy, dear ones. Even if you have time to, you only have time to do one thing a week, you all of the other days of the week, you can think about doing that thing. Just spend more time thinking about doing things that you love. And this is going to work on the love for yourself because you're giving yourself something you enjoy. And also boundaries, dear ones. Yes, we know many light workers have challenges in these areas because they want to give and give and they want to help everyone, which is beautiful. But loving yourself is important. You are in the physical because you wanted to be in the physical, but you are of greatest service to all of life right now in this role as in the physical. Of course, when you move back into energetic form, you will still be of service, but here in 3D world, you have great power in third dimensional form. So it's very important to take care of your energy field. Take care of what raises and lowers your vibrations. So practice setting boundaries, practice saying no with compassion. These are going to be two very important things to really just loving yourself more, dear one. So we are not going to take up all of the time. We're going to complete for the day. We are going to bring Shanice back in now. She will just say one or two more things before she passes this back to Cheryl. It is a pleasure having this opportunity to speak with you, and we are always with you. Feel free to ask us a question because we cannot interject without your permission, and just ask us to make the answers clear or in a form that is easy for you to understand, dear one. So we love you greatly. We're going to bring Shanice back in now. So thank you, everyone. Like I said, my group is Awakening Angel Channelers. It's for people that are maybe experiencing the physical symptoms of becoming a channel, and I have a list of those symptoms in the group if you're interested. But you can also visit my website. It's www.chernisepro.com because I also work with the Archangels and Ascended Masters just to support you on your journey. And I do, in addition to helping people that are becoming channels, I just help people. So I love you so much. Be well. Bye.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Shanice. Next up is Liza Jane Wolf. Liza and I must have been sisters in a past life because we are so much on the same wavelength in our groups. We're always talking about the same things at the same time. Like me, Liza is a medium, among other titles, and she's an empath, and her group is called Soul Connected Empaths. Liza, what do you have for us today?
Hi, everyone, and thank you. I just first want to say that I am honored to be here, and thank you, Zane, if you can hear me, for that awesome exercise we did. And I always love to watch and hear Shanice channel, so one of my favorite things. So I'm honored on that. So I just really want to talk about, I've been asking my guides what it is that I need to share today. And as Cheryl said, I actually started my journey out, and I'm going to share a little bit of my story. I started my journey out actually as a psychic medium. And so I had the pleasure of connecting with spirit and sharing the eternal souls of so many people with the loved ones that have, that are still here, with the loved ones that have passed. And for, those of us that are mediums, that's just such an amazing thing that we do. And I love that Cheryl said that, we do channel when we do that. So since I was little, I've been extremely empathic. I've been able to feel people's energy, hear it, see it. I've been connected in so many different ways, and I'm so fortunate for that. At one point it was overwhelming, but I learned to hone it. And part of that was channeling. So I've actually switched from doing intuitive and mediumship readings to teaching empaths how to connect with their soul, which is really how to channel. And why I did that is because I realized that I was always channeling. Once I learned how to channel, I realized all the different ways through my life that I have been channeling. And Cheryl touched on a few of those, but I think everyone has those moments where they are connected and divinely inspired. And so channeling to me really is allowing that connection to pure source energy in all of its incarnations to flow through you. When you acknowledge the divine within yourself, you are able to acknowledge the divine all throughout, in everyone and everything. And that's when you have those moments of inspiration, right? Those moments where you just know, feel, you just know it's the right thing to say, the right thing to do, or your life is just flowing as you want it to be, right? And so, as I said, Source incarnates on so many different levels, and there's so many amazing people here that are connecting on all of those different levels. And I myself channel a group of non-physical light beings that are pure source energy that I call the MVP. And I asked them one day, like, what the hell am I supposed to call you? I'm supposed to tell these people that something's speaking through me. Can I at least get a name? And they gave me the name MVP because I would always call them my posse in the sky. And so that stands for Multiverse Posse, meaning that they are a group of many different incarnations of source energy, but also to give you a verbal reminder that you are always the most valuable player. Because as Sharnish just channeled, right, self-love is of utmost importance. And as source connected energy beings who come into this physical body to have experiences, it's vitally important that we maintain that connection to source, and we do that best through self-love. We do that best through setting those boundaries, like that wonderful message told us to do, right? Because the more that we can firm up and connect with our energy, the more we can allow source energy to flow into us, through us, and out of us, we can impact the world in such a beautiful, amazing way. And so I'm not actually going to channel the MVP today. I was asking what it is that I needed to do, and we're going to see many amazing channelers. So I don't feel called to do that. What I really want to do is give you guys a little taste of what it's like to connect with your soul, because when you first connect with your soul, you can start to feel that flow of source energy. And then from there, you just run with it. You just work your way up the vibrational ladder until you're connecting in with pure source energy, allowing that to flow straight through you, whatever that looks like, right? So for some of us, that might be channeling the archangels. For some of us, that might be giving messages from loved ones. For some of us, that might be doing channeled writing. It might be speaking through our voice. But for many of us, that's just how we move through our everyday life. It's that energy of pure source that allows us to connect with people on the level that we need to connect with them on, to help hold space for them, right? Because when we allow source energy to flow through us through channeling, we are holding a space of divine utmost love. And when we can do that, we can hold space for other people to do the same for themselves. And so today I'm just going to lead you through an exercise that I call, I think I call it Joy Point. I don't know. I can't keep up with what I do or what I call it. But this is just something that you can take away with you. And in any moment that you're not sure if you're connecting or not, you can tap into this really quickly. And I use this with all of my clients. And I just think it's an awesome tool. So yes, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. And the reason, right, we close our eyes is so that we can give our attention to our internal space, because where our attention goes, our energy goes. And so we always want to be cognizant of where we're placing our attention, because that's where we're placing our energy. And I'm just going to ask you to take 3 cleansing breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you need to, wiggle your body out, move that energy through. And I want you to place your focus on your heart center, so where your heart chakra is. So that's right in the middle of your chest and your breastbone. And I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you take that deep breath in, I want you to connect with this space. And as you exhale, I want you to push the energy you felt into your body, and just very lightly. And then take another deep inhale and connect with the energy of your heart chakra. And on the exhale, push it further out into your body. And continue this breathing in and out until the entire energy of your heart chakra, your heart center, is permeating your body. You have flooded your entire body with the love of your heart center. And when you've done that, I want you to take a deep breath in and a slow exhale to release. Just looking. Okay. And now I want you to take a deep inhale, going to the same place of your heart center and connect to that space again. And exhale. And in this space, breathing naturally, I want you to think of the most joyous moment in your life. And for that could be your dog, like me, I'm in love with my dog, so that brings me joy, right? It could be an amazing dessert you had recently. Like, joy comes in so many forms, right? It could be the birthday of a child, married to your partner, whatever it is. And think of that moment and feel it in your heart center. And I want you to do the same thing. Breathing in, connect with that energy of joy, and exhaling, push it out through your body. And as you breathe in and out, connecting with the energy and pushing it out and letting it permeate your body, I want you to just be in this space and feel that connection. And know when you feel that connection, you are connected to pure source energy. And that's truly what channeling is. And in this space, everything you ever need is available to you. And then when you're ready, just come back to this space and time, blinking your eyes open, wiggling your body around. And thank you for doing that exercise with me. And so that's just a good way. You can always focus, put your attention right where your attention is, your energy goes. You can put your attention on your heart center and breathing in and out, flood your body with that energy. And this is a great place to start if you need to connect in and ask for information, if you're looking for higher guidance from your soul, source, angels, guides, whoever it is you're trying to connect in. If you want to start an automatic writing, right? This is such a beautiful place to clear your energy, sort your energy, connect with the highest vibration within yourself, and allow that source energy to flow through you. Because to me, that's truly what channeling is, and that's how we hold space for the world to be the amazing place that it is. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful day.
Beautiful, Liza. Thank you. Next up, we have Kat Meyer. Kat does a lot of wonderful things. I know she's worked with relationships, and she's worked with music, and she's focusing on remote healing now. Kat, take it away.
Hi. You know, it's so funny, Liza, our stories are so similar about how we got into it. I started channeling and doing the psychic fairs and all of that, and realized that basically it all came down to the same work, but anyway, that aside, moving on, I feel inspired to share so many things today. And so let me just streamline this. The first thing that I really want to touch on is that we are all channels. We are all constantly channeling, and especially those of us who identify as empaths, that is a way of channeling, because it's not just channeling from the higher realms down and bringing it here to us. It's also channeling on behalf of the collective. And I feel like that's where I have really identified as a channel, and as somebody who does this work, this healing work, especially with healing work, because it's, taking on, there's so much happening collectively within us, and being able to hone in on that and really formulate it into something identifiable that we can transmute and send back to source and heal that. Because everything, we're all here healing different aspects of karma, and we all have our role to play. We all have our amounts of karma we're taking on in different areas. We are all so equally important for the entire elevation of collective consciousness for everybody. We are all play such vital roles in all of this. And in particular, just to touch on the healing, I have really identified throughout the years with the human body, the way the human body works. I also work as a nurse too, so I love the interplay that I've been able to bring into my life with this. But all things are multi-level, because we are multi-level, right? So any ailment that we might experience, any issue that we might be exhibiting physically, it begins with the spiritual root. And if it's not addressed on that level, then it comes down to the mental plane. And, you know, we've got anxiety and all sorts of mental health disorders, even psychosomatic symptoms, physical symptoms. And if they're ignored on that level as well, it comes down and very physically manifests within the body. And so by being able to home in on a specific energy field and really take in that big picture, that big energetic picture, and channel from that person. So instead of channeling from source consciousness, I'm channeling from that person and sending it back. And I can't remember if I already said this or not, but channels move both ways. So you have to be able to, you know, take in the energy and send it up just as well as you can take the energy and bring it down. And that's where like a lot of empaths find themselves taking on the emotions of others and not finding that release. And that's a huge piece of it, is being able to or really embrace that understanding that like we're not meant to hold it, because it's just going the other direction. So yeah, by being able to channel the energy of that person, and that includes, you know, traumas that they may have been through, emotional blocks, spiritual blocks, even physical ailments. So many of these things come from you know, roots that are way, way, way back there. So finding that and healing the cause can be a great source of physical healing as well. And as opposed to, you know, Western medicine, and, you know, there is a place for it, but it's vastly overused, because by being able to find that root cause and heal the emotional behind it and heal the spiritual behind it, completely eradicate the issue. And then it also has the added benefit of healing that piece of collective karma, which brings all of us up a little more. Then we do it again, it brings all of us up a little more. I mean, we're all in this together, right? So that's how I work in that area. And another really big, huge thing that I am just passionate about is life in general and experiencing all of it. So we have this, you know, we're in this spiritual movement right now, and you know, we are love and we are light, and we are all these beautiful, amazing, divine things. But I am constantly being inspired and asked to share the shadows as well. And I feel that's another area where I channel, is I channel from the shadows, because we are here to experience everything, everything. Life is so beautiful. And in this physical form, on this physical plane, we experience growth and expansion that we cannot experience anywhere else. And the emotions that we feel, and the physical hurt, and the wondering, and the questioning, and the doubt, and the overcoming that, and the joy that follows, and all that contrast, like that is part of everything. We are made to feel, and everything comes down to love. Everything comes from a loving place when all is said and done. And all of the contrast, no matter how upsetting it may be in the moment, or how confusing it may be to us in the moment, it is all coming from a place of love. I call it tough love, because it is ultimately when we take the right perspective and when we take the right approach and hold that understanding that it is part of our growth and part of our experience and part of why we are here, and taking that and being able to elevate it. Like that's what this is all about. And yeah, I just, oh my God. It's overwhelming, and it's such joy and such a pleasure and such an honor to be here sharing this space with all of you and all of these amazing, beautiful spiritual professionals. And yeah, if you're interested in some healing work, You can find me on Facebook. It's Kat Meyer, Soul Therapist, or email healingqueen1111@gmail.com. I would be so blessed to work with any of you who are feeling that call. And thank you, Cheryl, for organizing this. This is so beautiful.
That's my pleasure, Kat. And so nice to talk with you. You just have such a zest for life. I love to see that. And I completely agree. You know, we came here for the experience. And while that experience is not always comfortable and we have to wrestle with difficult emotions and tough experiences, you know, it's like this buffet of experience and emotion, and we sort of just have to embrace it all, you know? I love it. Love it. Thank you, Kat. So next up we have Stacy Overman, and I'm so excited because one of Stacy's specialties is working with people who have had NDEs, near-death experiences. And another one of her specialties that I'm really drawn to is that she channels Archangel Michael, my favorite. My students know I work with Archangel Michael all the time. So I'm so excited to hear what Archangel Michael has to say through Stacy. Stacy, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Gosh, dang, Cheryl, this is just an amazing group of people. The energy is awesome. And I was just going to say, can you all not feel your third eye chakra just like, wah? It is open. Oh my goodness. This is so awesome having this energy. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, I am going to be tapping in and channeling with Archangel Michael today. Thank you. My Facebook group, I specialize in helping with the spiritual awakening of near-death experiencers. And some people ask me, well, do I have to have a near-death experience to go through an awakening? And I want to say, no. Some of us just have very traumatic things that happen in life. And there are some of us that are awakened since we were born. So I'm not saying that you can only be on one path. There's many, many paths to getting to this remembering state in this lifetime. I have had a near-death experience when I battled breast cancer, and I wasn't supposed to live 3 years, and I am still here. I was battling cancer at the same time that my husband at the time was battling, and I lost him in 2010. And when I went through all of that 2 years of crazy health scares, that's when my remembering started coming to light. I started seeing loved ones on the other side of the veil. I started seeing angels. And it's taken me fast forward all these years to look back in life and realize I'd been seeing this stuff even when I was a child, but I boxed it up, hid it, and turned it off, fear of hurting other people, because it had hurt my mother when I shared with her that I had seen my little sister that had passed away. Mm-hmm. And so many of us have had experiences like that, and maybe you just don't remember them, and we tend to box that away. So there's many different paths to remembering who you are, and so that is why I specialize in helping NDEs, because I've been through it. I've been through very traumatic things like that. So it's interesting. It seems as we have a very common theme today, and it's so funny because I was meditating and chatting with Archangel Michael today, and I had some notes here, and the theme here is love. Love. He was telling me about how we need to love ourselves. You've heard Zane, you heard Kat, you heard Liza and Sharnice. I mean, everybody, we're all talking about it. And so there's this great thing here when everyone that's in their awakening, they struggle like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Number one key, you've got to learn how to go within and love yourself, and then you can share love with others. That's a big one, and healing is huge. And so I know everyone on this call helps people with healing, and we all have our specialties with that. And so that's just really, really important that you know that the biggest thing here is to go within and to learn how to heal yourself. You have that power, and everyone on this call today has special techniques and exercises that can help you. So if there's someone here that you resonate with, I just challenge you to reach out to one of us, because we are amazing light workers that can help you no matter what place you're in. All right, so I'm just gonna tap in here. I hear, see, feel, and know. And I am a psychic medium, and because angels are my biggest go-to helping me when I first started, I kind of consider myself an angelic psychic medium. I call them my host of angels, but today I've chose to work with Archangel Michael. So just a second here. So I am not in a trance by no means. I am fully present. However, because I hear, see, feel, and know, I feel him right next to me. And I will get words sometimes. Sometimes I get images. Sometimes I just feel. I'm totally getting goosebumped out, and I'm getting really hot right now because whenever angels get right up next to me, I usually wear layers. I'm usually stripping off my sweaters. So he is here. So I'm just going to ask him what he would like to share with you guys. He says to share, welcome, dear ones. Welcome, dear ones. Blessed to see you. He is sharing with me to remind you that you are on a journey to remember who you are. Remember that you had these conversations before you came here. Remember when we sat together. Remember when we showed you the image. We showed you the pictures of what it was going to be like. We gave you an idea of how it was going to happen. And as the process of you fulfilling this role down here in this human body, he is sharing with all of you to know that everything happens in alignment with what you agreed upon before you came here. So things have happened in your life, traumatic things, to help you remember. If that's what it took, like for me. He says that we are all receiving light codes, light DNA codes that are helping us to awaken. He says this can seem very frustrating to many of you. It can cause a lot of anxiety. It can cause stress. It can cause even depression. It can cause, well, it's funny, he's addressing me. It can cause, like me, Stacy, and started resorting to sleeping pills and a glass of wine to help me sleep and not see loved ones standing next to my bed that were on the other side of the veil. He's referring to that, and he thinks that's kind of funny. But I had to learn what that was. I was trying to turn that off. He says, so that is very normal. Sorry, my jaw gets really chattery here. Very normal to experience these kinds of things, but it is the divine's way, your spirit team's way of helping you to remember who you are. He's referring to, hold on a second, he gets pretty intense here. My jaw starts to chatter. Referring to the importance of healing yourself and not getting stuck or addicted to the human side of things. Many times we get addicted to how it is to be human. He's referring to wanting to make sure that you understand that you are a multi-dimensional being, dear one. You are a multi-dimensional being having this human body experience, and not to get stuck and addicted to the human body experience. To remember that your heart has a plan. Your spirit team is here with you. They are helping you. They are guiding you. They've never left you, dear one. He's asking me to ask you all to put your hand over your heart and to close your eyes once again and to visualize your heart. Visualize God's love for you, filling this heart, filling your heart with this beautiful white light. This white light is helping to melt any ice that is formed all around this heart. Just allow that hurt, those things that have caused those walls to go up. Please just allow it and visualize that sunshine, that beautiful God's white light coming in, and just see that light melting these walls away, melting this ice cube away, knowing that they have never left you, that you are so loved. Just feel that love. Archangel Michael is just sending this through my entire host of angels and spirit team. They're all just sending this through to you right now. Just feel that heart space getting really warm and allowing all of that ice to melt. Big thing here I'm hearing too is to know, dear one, that you are worthy of receiving wonderful love. You are worthy of giving wonderful love. And you need to remember and know that they've never left you. They're right there beside you, right with you, every step of the way. Reach out to them. They will help you. Trust in them. They're also sharing with me that each and every one of us here on this call, and if you're watching this call and joined us or watching the replay, more than likely you are also being called in a role of a light worker role. And all of us light workers are being placed strategically around the world to help raise the vibration, to help bring love. And what you don't even realize, and he's making mention and showing me this vision, is as you know, we have an aura field around us. But when we have this divine love inside of us, it permeates outside of us in such a great manner that many of us light workers that are placed here, this love radiates energy for miles. There's a reason you're in the town you're in. There's a reason you are in the state you're in, the country you're in, because you, dear ones, are helping to raise the vibration. And just like some of the speakers today said, as we each heal, we all raise to another level. We are all connected. We are all one. When one of us hurts, all of us hurts. So we've got to reach out. We've got to go within first and heal ourselves first. And so let me just make sure he's got anything else here. He says, thank you, beloved ones. Thank you, beloved ones. And peace be to you. Woo. Okay, let me just kind of disconnect here. My jaw gets chattering and I can't hardly speak for a minute there, but love that. And so if that is something that I can help you with, you can reach out to me. I would love to do that. I do one-on-one sessions. I do my 9-week New You program, so you can learn how to heal. You can figure out who you truly are and figure out what your soul purpose is and how you're going to help and move forward in this life. You can reach me at www.stacie, that's S-T-A-C-I-E, overman.com. I have a lot of information there, great videos there. You can join me in my Near-Death Experiencers Facebook group, and that would be great. I guess that's it. So thank you, Cheryl, for having me. I just love this. This is so awesome. I hope that it blesses all of you.
It is a blessing to have you, Stacie, and to have all of you. It's such an honor, and I'm having such a wonderful time. We're about halfway through our list of speakers, and so I want to give everybody an opportunity to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to pause the recording, and we'll come back in 5 minutes. Please use the facilities, walk the dog, get a snack, whatever you need to do. Water is a good thing. Have some water. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Welcome back, guys. Cheryl Gramp here, and I'm proud to welcome all of you to part 2 of our Channeling Symposium. We're halfway through. We just heard from several amazing channelers, and I hope everyone was able to glean lots of bits of wisdom. I'm having a wonderful time. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. We have 6 more speakers to go, and at the end, we'll open it up for Q&A. I just want to say that I'm honored to have everybody here. All the presenters are doing such a wonderful job, and I'm so glad that we've all come together in the spirit of community and communion and cooperation rather than competition, because after all, we all are spiritual teachers. We all have our spiritual businesses and our groups, and we reach out to clients, and we work with various clients in all different ways, but we all have our special areas of expertise. And we're basically doing the same thing. We're all helping people to live their best lives and to heal and to experience a life of abundance and of unconditional love. But we all have a slightly different flavor from each other. We all do something a little bit different from the next person on the lineup. And I think it's a wonderful thing that we're able to come together and to share in this way. It's fantastic. I'm glad to welcome you all here. So next up is Nicole Wayne. Nicole channels archangels and beings of light. And she also has a group on Facebook that can help you get in touch with your own intuition. Nicole.
Hi, hello everybody. Thank you, Cheryl, so much. I'm enjoying myself so much and just blown away by everybody in your presentations. I'm getting so many insights and downloads of energy. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Yes, the energy is like off the charts. So as Cheryl said, I have an Intuitive Development Tribe Facebook group. So that's where you can find me on Facebook. So I'm a psychic medium and who channels elevated beings and archangels to help really raise consciousness on the planet and help to eradicate our suffering. As we start to understand that it becomes a choice as we become more acclimated to a higher and higher vibrational frequency. So my other expertise is in the human energy system as an intuitive energy healer in the chakra system. So today, this week, I'm like, what are we going to talk about? May said, well, it would be very helpful for those in the audience to really understand what is happening through the chakra system as you channel. And so before we dive into that, I want to explain how I experienced channeling. And I didn't used to be able to do this at all. So it is possible to develop this ability. So I'm very highly clairaudient, meaning I can talk with spirits and angels and have conversations, but they also, and so I hear that as words and different voices and all that, but I also, when I channel, it's like this vibration of energy. They're shining on me and I download it immediately into like my tongue and my vocal cords and I just speak it. And so that's how I experience it today. And I'm also able to go in and out of channeling very quickly. But today they told me, we're going to keep you in it and just channel through you as much as possible. And just for those, since you're here, I imagine most of you understand what the chakra system is. And if you don't, just briefly, your energy to the core. And we have these chakras, which are like vortices of energy. They're always spinning, always in motion, and they're databases of information. And while you're on the earth plane of existence, you are experiencing different aspects of symbolism throughout your life, and so they all represent different symbolism, and we're going to highlight what is happening through your chakra system. So here we go. Okay, so first they're saying we are so excited to be here. This is such a phenomenal group. And before I get going even more, I want you to understand also I'm a physical medium, so I wave my arms around. I'm helping you to tune to your energy as we go, and so just want to put that out there. Okay, they're saying we are back. So we are so very pleased. Cheryl, thank you so much for creating this opportunity for so many highlighted, beautiful angels in this group to get together and reveal their beauty in source connection and channeling their divine gifts. It is truly amazing for everyone to come together to such capacity to allow this incredible vision to come forth and to co-create. And that's what we are really hoping you all to understand is the co-creation aspect with spirit. So as we dive into the human energy system, we will be making adjustments in your frequencies on all these levels of your human energy system, which do involve the auric fields at time, but we will stick to the chakras mainly. And you can reference these ideas later if you're not clear on what they are all about. But we just want to hop in and get through this for time's sake. All right, so first layer of your auric field is important though. Even though we said we're going to talk mainly about chakras, the first layer of your auric field resonates with the first chakra, and it is called the etheric template. It is literally a hologram of your physical body. And so this is about presence of moment. To be in the present moment fully, full-heartedly, with ultimate trust in your connection to source wisdom is really where it's at if you wish to become a channel. And so many people who are wishing to be channels do not really understand how to get into this presence. And it is something to learn and to connect to, and learn and connect to, and learn, connect to. It is a cultivation, and so it's a becoming, and it's a daily practice, and it just doesn't open. Because if you were to open too quickly, it would not be a gentle and loving process for you, and it would be much more struggle. And of course, there are different attunements to channeling, and our channel here, Nicole, is very wise and able to hold high frequencies, so we're just gonna go for it. Okay. Good, okay, so just making a little adjustment here. First chakra is so primary for becoming a channel. We know that everybody wishes to awaken the higher chakras, but your foundation is everything. So being in the moment is key. The structure of your belief systems regarding being a channel is even most important for you today, to really rely on trusting interactions with spirit and to rely on us as your crutch instead of food for nourishment or drugs or alcohol or things like that. You know, to really get into the dependency upon source and your source wisdom and connection to spirit is really where it's at. Moving into the second chakra, we are talking about Kundalini energy, because this is the chakra of passion and juicy highlights, your education module, your finances, your wealth, sexual interaction, one-on-one relationships, all these juicy topics that are so exciting. But the Kundalini energy is where the seed of consciousness lives, and in your daily pursuit of passion, to feel extremely passionate daily, to cultivate this wisdom is key, because as you do, this energy moves up the spine like the caduceus, and it hits you in the psychic entry points on the back of your head. And when your chakras are all open and your third eye can be the tool to elicit messages and download through your crown as well. So very, very important to allow play and freedom and ease so much, so good, so pleasing for all of us here today, for you all to understand these concepts. The third chakra highlighted for your self-responsibility obligation issues. The cup half empty is not the place to be. The cup half full, you must fill your cup with nourishment, and do this, prioritize this before doing so for others. This is the number one mistake in many, many humans, that they squander their energy systems through not filling up their own cup first and relying on other people for guidance instead of their own source wisdom. Moving up still, we will go to, well, there's a bunch of things we can talk about. So they're making reference to the mental plane, the third layer of the auric field, the fourth layer at the same time. But they're saying, let's jump into the fourth chakra. Fourth chakra is about universal love, universal consciousness. This place where people weep for others is so drastic to healers' health. Healers will die prematurely if they are overgiving. There is a balance, and when you overgive, you deplete your resources continuously, and that empaths leaking their energy is so crucial to plug that up through allowing the bounty of receiving source energy frequently and putting yourself first and foremost, prioritizing who you are, the love for yourself, and that which you are wishing to come to a channel as is most important, because the purity of your heart's wisdom is so key. So they want me to just briefly interrupt and talk about, like, Shernice, you did not know that you were becoming a channel. Like, I didn't know that either. I was connecting to my heart's wisdom and prioritizing my joy above all things, and doing that every day, like 24 hours a day, every waking moment I could. And I was trained into this. So many people are coming through in my intuitive development tribe. They're like, I want to open my third eye, open your third eye. And it's like, but you really have to connect to your heart's wisdom and the purity of source wisdom, and the knowing of what it is you are really getting at in developing these beautiful gifts. So moving up still into the fifth layer, or fifth chakra, well, they're saying fifth layer is so highly important because it is about divine flow. It's about ease and allowing source to guide you. And so as you ascend up the ladder of frequency, you continually will have newer tests from source, from your soul, of aligning with source wisdom and acting from that place. And that's where people shut down and close out and get in fear, because it's too scary to take those leaps. But as a channel, Nicole has taken leaps of faith over and over and over and over again, and the risks become bigger in her eyes, yet the return on investment even grander. All right, so fifth chakra. Okay, now they seem to have stopped, talking to me, so that's interesting. And they're saying, well, we want to train a few of you for a moment. So if you could all look inside your heart, go ahead and close your eyes, and really connect to what's there in this moment. Why do you wish to channel spirit? Why do you wish to channel love? Why do you wish to help others? Is it about them, or is it about you? Is it about purity? Is it about skill? Is it about showing off? Is it about love-based thinking? It's just so key. And Nicole wishes to keep moving up and up and up. Yet we bring her down, down, down to the ground and soothe her and make sure her root chakra and her second chakra and third chakra are aligned. As she opened as an intuitive, she spent the next several years only working on root belief systems and second chakra interventions, which source came through for her. Okay, so I'm like, are we done yet? And they're saying, oh, almost. Okay, so fifth chakra is about integrity. Integrity is about being true to yourself, yes, but integrity in who you are as a divine being. You are a divine being to the core. And for Nicole to evolve and to climb up her ladder into becoming a channel medium and such, she had to evolve to the understanding of her eternal divine nature and refer to herself literally as a goddess energy. Pull that in. I'm able to create my life. I'm deserving. I believe in my ability to inspire as a divine vessel. And so we move along here because we are a little short on time. We realize that. So we would just wish to bring in as much of the key components to you at this moment. The sixth chakra is where everybody's so excited about, wildly excited about the sixth chakra. We just want you to understand that the foundational beliefs are most key, and that you being pure in your heart is so wise, and that being able to consolidate your energy through self-loving antics and play and joyful things to consolidate that energy is so important, way more important than the opening of the sixth chakra. But as you ascend, you're able to download the frequencies of source and the beings that are around you and feel that joy. You understand that choice to trust, choice to be here and do this work in this physical body is so key. And we really want you to understand that understanding is so important of humanity. For if we are full of judgments and hatred and blame and worry about other people other than ourselves, we are never going to ascend to a place of allowance, because it is in source perspective that you gain through becoming a channel. So very, very important. Listen quietly, listen carefully to that trusting voice within that is guiding you to loving and forgiving the world for the pain and suffering they cause. As all these terrible things are happening in the world, there is a mass grieving process which expands knowledge, and innovation of source is allowing in these people more and more. Most of all, that's what we wish you to understand. And as we reach the seventh, Nicole works in 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 10, and so we will be very brief. But 7th is really about that unconditional love of Source, of being able to feel appropriate is most important in all aspects of humanity, especially sex and, you know, all these other things, your emotions, most importantly, to be able to express yourself, very, very key. And so as we move up the ladder even more to 8, 9, and 10, we want you to understand that love is here for you. You are eternal and divine beings who have lived through multiple lifetimes and honed your abilities through many lifetimes. And so as intuitive gifts awaken within you all, sometimes you just, it's like you come back where you left off. 9th chakra from our point of view is a karmic healing. 8th chakra is about talents. So as you heal the karma, the talents that you've knocked off and closed down due to fear because of trauma in past lives for burning at the stake or whatever it was, they return to you, and the blessings of them are much greater. You appreciate them much differently, and they evolve to even higher ladder. Forgiveness is so key of all this past life trauma, for you are an earth walker, and it is an utter joy we join you here, because you could not have this experience without us harnessing the light around you. And so that brings us to 10th chakra, the ultimate potential. Those of you who have these great gifts and wish to climb these ladders of ascension and are awakening to this idea and this ability to channel, you have these fabulous life purposes, these full potentials of awakening and love. And we just wish you to understand just what a pleasure it is to be with every single person here in this group today, that we leave nobody out. No one is eliminated in your ability to ascend. And that is all we have for you today. Namaste. Thank you. So yeah, again, my Facebook group is Intuitive Development Tribe, and you can find me at www.nicolewayne.com. And again, thank you so much. I hope that was helpful. That was really fun for me. And I look forward to who's next.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
That was lovely. You know, during the meditation at the beginning of part 1, when I was starting the meditation, I usually go through the chakras at least briefly. And when I was about to do that, I heard, we don't need to do the chakras today. So now I know why. That was
Yes.
a lovely promenade through the chakra system. Thank you for that. So one of the things that you mentioned, Nicole, was the importance of play. And that fits right in with Daniel McNicholas, who is our next up and who considers himself a sort of spiritual clown. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello. So yeah, I didn't know I was doing this till now, but this will be fun. Okay. So, see, being this ridiculous. So the idea of playing, right? So I'm like learning about playing, and I always tap into that. It's scary to put yourself out there like this. Like I get scared doing this. So it's really interesting that we're scared to play and be ridiculous, like to let our weird selves out. And I think that comes into, I can't talk with this on, channeling, where we hide that part of ourselves. Like we don't want to be weird and ridiculous. However, it's what is fun, right? That's the kid part of ourselves that Zane talked about that's hurt, wants to play and get out there. And I see this in almost everyone that's an adult, almost 99.8%, I'm making up numbers, is that they don't play enough. Like there's no play, there's no freedom, everything's planned, there's a structure. And most of us are wounded because we have too much structure. So I picked a Pokemon card for today, and it's called The Last Special. So Jesus told me to do this. So The Last Special is a supporter card. So the idea is that we're all supporters. We all want to heal the world. We all want to raise consciousness. We all want to go to the 8.5 dimensions so we can meet the elephants that roam around there with Jesus and Buddha. However, we don't have any fun in this realm. And that's kind of where I come in. And for a long time, I got this download from, I've talked to everyone from Jesus to Ganesh to Kali. I've channeled every single being from every single place they talk to me. However, I think bringing play to the world is what the world needs. So that's what I do because it's so important for so many, and it heals. So the idea is that I got these down. I asked this question, can we just heal through play? And I asked this to Spirit, and they kept on saying, yes, you don't have to go into stuff. It kept on giving me the answer over and over again. And I would be with ceremonies with children and in very healing ceremonies, and they would just play and they would heal 10 times more than the adults. I was like, why are they doing this? Like, what's the difference? And I'm like, oh my God, they don't have no rules around anything. They just have this open, imaginative, playful healing modality where they will do anything that's necessary in the moment to heal. They don't have a plan beforehand. They're not like, this is how we heal. This is how we heal our root chakra because we go down through this channel and we channel this thing. They're just like, maybe I'll just run around and play as a dog and then I'll heal my root chakra. Like I saw them do that. It was crazy. So that's how I realized healing trauma and grief through getting people to play and be happy. And the idea of a clown is very, very smart, but at the same time knows how to play. So this idea that we don't bring our knowledge just to bring our knowledge to show that we're smart. We only do it when it's necessary. At the same time, then we play. So we become whatever we need to be in that moment. So that's the whole idea. Oh. And this is why you plan better. I'm just gonna go like this. So that's the idea, I guess what I do. And I think with channeling, the big thing I see, and I've trained channelers, intuitives, and card readers, and they're like, I have to do it right. And they're like very scared to do it right. And what I told them is go mess up. Like go do a bunch of card readings and get it wrong and tell them the wrong thing. Because we're getting 1,000 wrong messages from the community anyway. So if you give them one wrong message, it's not gonna hurt them. But you're not really gonna give a wrong message because you're just helping. So that's really what matters. And the funny thing about channeling too that I always see is people worry about what they're saying. Like I need to say the right words. Even though I could channel and say, I'm gonna get a burrito tomorrow and that burrito is gonna be really delicious. Do you want a burrito too? Like, I just really want a burrito right now. But it's just the energy I'm bringing through. The words don't really matter. The words are just getting us to listen to the channeler and show up, but really it's a transmission of energy that really matters. Like when I go see a channeler, I'm like, I don't really care what they say. Like, I'm just gonna feel their energy because that's what I'm here for. Just like we're here together. Just to share energy and to transmit energy from one another and to learn through that. I'm just talking a lot, which is good. I guess that's why I'm on point. So yeah, so I guess my challenge and like the idea is to bring that playful energy. And we said it's healing. Every channel comes through and says to play. They all say it. From Bashar to Abraham Hicks to all you guys to archangels to Jesus to Buddha, they're all telling us to play, and then we take them really seriously. So like I have this like story. So I taught to the Ascended Masters for a long time, and I still do when they want to come, but you know, I have stuff to do in this realm. And the first question I asked them is how they deal with farts. And first, the Ascended Masters all yelled at me. They kind of made this joke. They're like, you can't ask us about that. You're talking to the Ascended Masters as your first question. And then they went, no, we're joking. And then they all told me, like Joan of Arc to Jesus, like how they dealt with farts. Like Joan of Arc used it to connect with men, and Jesus would hide it, and Buddha would do it openly. Like all these jokes. And they're like, thank you for asking us a silly question. Because everyone comes to me with this divine perfection. But it's that idea that spirits want to have fun too. And when they always are dealing with that seriousness. And the world is so unbalanced towards seriousness, especially in American planned mind society. We're so planned. We're like, we got to do it this way, and we got to have this structure, and I better go to the gym today. And it's like, well, what if your little kid wants to go look at a flower? Like, you're missing everything because you already know you have expectations on what's going to happen. So when I heal, I never have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do today. I didn't know I was going to talk about clowning until Cheryl asked me the question, what do you want to be called? I'm like, well, I guess I'm a spiritual clown today. So it's that idea that we can be whatever we need to be in the moment. And that's not saying planning's bad. That's just always my message. The angels for 2 years straight told me not to plan. They're like, you plan way too much, humans. And it was a consistent message for so long. And I bring this like other side where I don't have goals, I don't have to-do lists, I don't have anything, and I somehow always get by and I do way better that way. And it's this idea of letting go of all the structure that we can. And where that comes from is that our school system, it structured us when we were a little kid, like this is how it's going to be. And most of our wounding comes from we wanted to play and we were put in a box. And then we were told the way of thinking. We were told this is the right way to do things, and you got to listen to this person, you got to sit there. But that's where all the wounding comes from. So the more you play, the more you'll heal. And obviously combine that with the seriousness, but the playfulness has to come in, because that breaks people. It breaks the ego. Humor breaks the ego faster than anything else. It gets by it, and it expands us, just like crying does. Laughter is just as powerful as crying, but we never say that. We just say crying is the way to heal. But laughter is just as powerful, and it's more fun, so at least we can balance it out. Lauren had a friend on the screen. That was cool. Anyways, I think that's it, because I'm getting tired of talking. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up and doing your thing. Hopefully that made some sense, because I don't even know what I'm doing, and I have a bow hanging from my thing. So good thing I'm staying professional, you know, that's my idea. I have a Facebook group called Channeling the Cosmos on Facebook. I make videos about random topics that come to my mind in the moment, and people seem to like it, so that's cool. And then I work with, ironically, I work with trauma and really deep grief, so that's where I work with, but you have to have play to work with that. So, and then you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of like feeling all your deep feelings forever. That has its place, but we're addicted to that. So we have to go the other way at some point. So thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I connected with everything you were saying so much more than I expected to, I have to say, because I haven't had a lot of personal conversation with you. And I just have to say, like, everything you were saying about being in the moment and not over planning totally resonates with me. I've been a French teacher for over 20 years. And when I started out, I had to have everything planned and over planned. I was like completely OCD about planning everything. And in the last 2 years, with the help of my spirit guides, everything has kind of just come from the heart and been in the moment and much more fluid and much more like channeling. And that's why I mentioned channeling with teaching before. I love that you brought in Joan of Arc. Nicole brought in, you know, burning at the stake in our past lives and that fear about being persecuted and everything. And it's all tying together so well, even though we did not plan who was going to say what prior. I knew it would take care of itself, and it has. I thank you so much for your message, Daniel, because I think we really do need to find that balance and find the joy in life again. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is the structure of the school system. My kids have been asking to be homeschooled. While I'm not sure I have the means to do that, I have been wondering how great it would be to allow my children to not have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and be in this structure all day long and then come home and do more worksheets. Wouldn't it be wonderful for them to have more freedom to explore what interests them at the moment instead of worrying about standardized testing, and follow their passions and go out and, like you said, you know, they're wondering about flowers. Let's do a lesson on flowers today. I think that would be a fantastic way to approach education. So I'm going to do some more thinking about that. In the meantime, all right, so next up we have Vanessa Vlahakis. She does soul level healing with Vanessa Lynn. Here you go.
Okay.
Whoops, I unmuted you. Hold on. There you go.
Okay, we good? I unmuted, you muted. Spirit sense of humor. Okay, awesome to be here. How's everyone doing? You guys, this has been I was gonna say it's been a long day, but it's gone really fast because it's been so cool. So thank you all for hanging in there. I have, oh my gosh, I love how this works. I didn't know what I was going to talk about either. And it's all about unconditional self-love. That's the theme of the day, how to love yourself. Yay. I just want to give a quick shout out to Daniel, because I'm a super organizer, structure person, or I was for years. And I've been pushed to do a lot more public speaking and teaching. And they've been like, get rid of all your notes, just channel it, just do it. And it's immensely terrifying, but I'm trying to practice doing that. So I do have notes, but we'll see what happens. So I am a mental health counselor, I'm a psychic medium, and I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I focus solely not solely, but very heavily on the chakras, combining all of that. So I do a lot of soul level trauma work that is present life and past life. So I go into people's deep soul lessons and I find out what their souls have been trying to learn life to life to life, and what the patterns have been repeatedly, and the trauma that's accrued, and then why this life ends up with these kind of soul traumas coming to a head. Because really what I've learned in my work in my private practice is that this is really the lifetime for all of us to clear the books. It's time to just get rid of all the trauma, let go of everything. Somebody mentioned forgiveness, healing, releasing, finding the joy, finding the ability to play again. All of that stuff is really important. And so I work solely with basically light workers who don't know they're light workers. I also get ones who do, but I get a lot who are like, I don't know, but they're very intuitive, they're very connected, and they have a lot of trauma kind of blocking that. So what I was going to talk about today really quickly is, because I know I don't have much time, so I'm talking really fast. I'm sorry, I have so much I want to say. So in my sessions, I do channel a lot of the Ascended Masters, Archangels, gods and goddesses, all kinds of really cool people. But I ended up starting to work with a different type of group, kind of as a side project. And this wasn't for people in sessions. This was something I started just doing on the side. And I started channeling messages from people who were celebrities in this life, who crossed over. Usually early, usually from trauma, either overdose or suicide, something like that. A lot of them have crossed really young, the ones I work with. And the reason, it's very complicated and I don't have time to go into it, but we have a very specific soul contract. That's why I'm working with these people. So I haven't met them in this life, but I work with them on a soul level. And their channelings, I do writing, it's channeled writing, ended up starting to have a theme around them talking about their soul lessons and what they learned once they got to the other side. Because a lot of these people, unfortunately, had very traumatic lives and didn't end up healing or learning the soul lessons that they were here to work on. So I wanted to give very quick examples. And I'm going to go by chakra because that's how my mind works in terms of combining mental health counseling and spiritual healing and all of that. I think of it in terms of the chakra symbols. So for root chakra, and these are the four main chakras that I see almost all of this group of beings, souls, struggling with, is the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart. So the root is issues with fundamental belonging, safety, and acceptance among humanity. Being accepted for their private real identities versus their public persona, huge issue. Sacral is issues around balance and flow in all areas of life, including dealing with temptation, excess with money, fame, power, all of that. Addiction issues, sexual trauma issues, emotional health and balance issues, things like that. Solar plexus, huge issues around self-worth, empowerment, confidence, self-trust. I mean, just gaping holes in their solar plexus. This is why a lot of these souls in this life have chosen to be famous, because that pushes that button immensely. And again, personal identity sits in the solar plexus. So it's again about them being able to honor who they really are as souls, rather than what the public forces on them or what they feel they have to be for the public to accept them. So that's their test around that one. And then the heart struggles with unconditional love, which we all have, but they have chosen to explore it in a very public platform. So this is a rough ride for them sometimes. And self-compassion. And there's a lot of loneliness and a lack of being able to authentically connect with other people when they have the fame and the money and all that kind of blocking. That energy can get very cloudy. And I think, so their deeper soul test is to be able to find authentic soul connections with others. And often the ones I work with, they weren't able to do that in this life. So one thing I want to make a quick note that, and they came through loud and strong, they want me to say this, that souls who choose to incarnate as celebrities in this life, and this is only this life. So keep in mind, they have not been famous in every other life. Some of you have probably been famous in other lives. It's only a way to learn lessons. It has nothing to do with, they're not higher, they're not better, they're not more fancy than us. It's just that they felt that this was the way they would best learn their lessons. So they really wanted to get that out there. But they are light workers, and that's something I didn't realize when I started working with them, but they are here to raise the vibration on a much, obviously, larger scale, bigger platform. And they're here to do it through both bringing joy and laughter and fun and play through, comedies or whatever they're doing, and also through giving voice to much harder emotions that sometimes we can't deal with, like pain, anger, shame, guilt, fear. And they do it through entertainment, but they're channels. They're channeling, they're empaths and intuitives, and they don't know this usually till they get to the other side, but they're able to tune in to the collective emotions that haven't been healed, that need to be expressed. And they've chosen to do it on a very large platform. And the reason that they've chosen to do it that way is that they have their own issues that are going to be especially triggered doing this work. And that's their soul's journey to kind of see if they can heal and learn from this. Does that make sense? This is like the crash course and why they've gone this direction. So anyway, I think, they said they wanted me to share that they are the translators and processors of human experience. They're here to translate the huge range of human emotion in an accessible and relatable way for the masses. So that's kind of their light working goal. But then unfortunately, some of them have a lot of deep wounds that kind of get in the way, and then we see the Hollywood tragedies. So not all of them, but the ones I work with are the ones that have the really deep issues. So I was going to read a very quick bit of channeling before I run out of time. Usually I'll show you, they write pages and pages and pages when I channel them. And this I put on my website because it's a lot, but I'll just read a few key paragraphs that go with today's theme. So this channeling was done in 2014, and it's from Jonathan Brandis, he was a child actor, and he committed suicide in the 90s, I think. I can't remember. I think it was the 90s. So he came in talking about why he chose to be an actor in this life, what he struggled with. And I'll get to the meat of what he was saying. Okay. He says, we usually come into this life nearly starved for the most basic rights of self-love, self-compassion, kindness toward ourselves and others, a feeling of belonging and acceptance, and a feeling of connection with those around us. Many, many of us come into this world with serious self-worth issues, lack of trusting and loving and believing in ourselves. I was no different, which is why I chose to go the fame route on a soul level in this life. I had many things to learn, most of which had to do with how I saw myself, how I loved and accepted myself, and how I felt my own worth. Let's see. He says, what I want to share is that once I got back to the other side, I reviewed my life choices along with all of my past lives and realized that the thing I had been searching for all along was already inside me. I was just too blind to see it. I was worthy. I was full of love and compassion and goodness and light. I just didn't see it. I relied on outside sources to validate my existence, my worth, and that was where I went wrong in my lesson. It was all inside from the beginning. It is inside all of us, and that is what I want to say to all of you. For some reason, most of us choose to be born forgetting our brilliance from within, the true worth and love and light of our soul. We spend the entire time on this planet trying to remember just that. Some of us go about it in the wrong way, but in the end, it always turns out that it was there all along, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We need to begin loving and trusting ourselves like we never have before. We are beautiful, divine souls. We are fully worthy of love and compassion and good things, though none of us often believe that. I have learned my lesson now that I'm on the other side. My hope is that many of you can learn yours before you get over here. It changes everything to live a life believing and trusting in yourself, truly loving and feeling the truth of your worth as a human being and as a soul. Everything will change if you start living life as you were designed to, as beautiful souls living a human existence so that you can work on lessons. Please take it from me, it is well worth it to turn inward and work on those wounds, heal your issues, and feel the brilliant light begin to shine out from within. You all deserve this. Not one human being doesn't deserve to feel this way. Please learn from those of us who have crossed before you. The love is there, the light is there, the worth is there. It is all inside you. It is inside all of us. You just have to recognize it. You deserve this. And then, do I have time? I have one other channeling. I'll read it really quick. This is from a different actor, Corey Haim, who was also a child. Interestingly, they were both child actors. I don't always work with child actors, but these two came through to say, read my stuff today. And he said, I'm going to skip a bunch of his stuff too, because again, they're really long, but he says, I want to talk about our light, the inner light that we all carry as souls, that we are all taught from a very early age to silence, hide, diminish, and extinguish. We are not allowed to embrace who we are on a soul level and are often destroyed for trying to do just that. There are energy predators, those vibrating on a lower level, who prey on us, on many of us who are young, vulnerable, and shining brightly. So he was referencing being a child actor, actually. Please listen to me, truly listen to me. We all have lightning radiating from our fingertips, light glowing in our palms, shining from our hearts, burning in our bellies. We are beings of light. This is often forgotten, or if remembered, it is taken from us by others living in lower fear and shame and pain vibrations. Look in the mirror, look deeply into your eyes, truly the windows to your soul, and see the light shining there. See what I wasn't allowed to see when I was here. See what was taken from me by others. See what is inherently all of our birthrights, the divinity within. See it, feel it, be it. You are light, my friends. We are all light. No one is better, brighter, bigger, more deserving, or more worthy than any other. We are all the same. We are all divine light, incarnated here repeatedly to learn and heal and grow. Dig underneath all the piles of pain and trauma and harm and fear that is covering up your own light and allow it to finally shine. Own it, please, please own it. It is the only way we will finally evolve out of the way that we are living right now. Okay, and they said a lot more, but I think I'm running out of time. Anyway, it's interesting that those two came together. They just, I did the challenge years apart, but today I woke up and they were like, you need to do this one and you need to do this one, because it's all about that unconditional love within, seeing your light, seeing your worth, and really owning it and feeling it. And unfortunately, like I said, sometimes these guys didn't have a chance to do that, but they're seeing the much bigger picture on the other side. So let's see how to wrap it up. So my Facebook group is Soul Level Healing with Vanessa Lynn. And in it, I help people explore their deeper soul lessons, usually ascribe to the chakras. And I do a lot of one-on-one work around this stuff because people have long patterns of soul trauma that need to go. And they have long patterns of just dysfunctional ways of thinking and being and feeling because of things that have happened in past lives and also this life. So I help uncover all that, clear it out, get rid of that energy. I'm a big energy mover, channeling it back to the collective, as one of you said, Kat said that. And I also do a lot of online courses and stuff, but I do mostly my work is one-on-one, helping people heal. So I'll put my website in the chat because I think I went over my time, but I think that's it. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if I talked too fast. I just had so much. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Vanessa. That was beautiful. And I just saw something posted on, I think it was Zane's group actually in Facebook, that he mentioned Corey Haim. Did you see that? Did you know that? Yep, synchronicity strikes again.
Oh, I have to, okay, yeah, I didn't see that. That's so weird.
Yep. We are all connected.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, up next we have Kat with a Q, Kat Wanders, who does lots of amazing things, including writing books and editing books and yoga and healing. And she is here today as a spirit writer. Off you go, Kat.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, first of all, I need to give another shout out to Vanessa because she and I have been working together for about a year now, and she has really helped me overcome a lot of my soul level trauma that I think more than knows. So I can't recommend her possibly more highly, and that's just, I felt really the need to say that. Anyway, my name is Kat. I specialize in channeled writing. I've been doing it since I could pick up a pen. And the thing that came through for me to talk to you about today isn't necessarily just the channeled writing. I was thinking about having you do an exercise. Instead, I'm going to talk to you about the method that's been the most effective for me, which has been tuning in the dream state. So most of my channeled writing comes through upon waking up first thing in the morning, but I do a lot of writing before I go to sleep at night, and then I wake up and it sort of flows into the next morning. So the messages that I got for all of you to start working on how to come into a channeled writing state. A lot of people work with automatic writing, where you sit and you center and you just start writing and see what comes out. And that's actually never how I've done that. I start with a core topic and then it just starts flowing out of me. And the way I get those core topics is I wake up with them. And it's something that's been happening, like I said, since I was a child. I started working with lucid dreaming and dream journaling, and I've been doing it forever. So messages started coming through. So the way they come through is I wake up with kind of a vision of the way the dream went, and then there's a specific message, and I get up and I write it down immediately. So my project for you, if you're interested in learning to really tune in, and if channeling is new for you, you've never done it before, or you're interested in just kind of the first steps to really get started, if writing may be more your thing rather than audio, things like that, that a lot of channels do employ, I recommend before you go to sleep at night, really sit down and set your intention. You can spend a while writing as if maybe how you wanted your day to go, how you'd like the next day to go, or something like that. Or sit for a moment, really get into a good space to get ready for sleep, and then ask, what is the question that I need to know the answer to? And write that question down. It should come pretty quick, and you're gonna get a lot of questions maybe, but you know, 1, 2, focus on whatever you need to. Write the question down and really focus on that question as you're falling asleep. As you're falling asleep, just kind of ask for lucidity in your dreaming state. And specifically, if you have like a certain ascended master or a guide or an angel that you talk to, as you are talking to this person, as you're going to sleep, make sure you ask not only for clarity and answers in your dream state, but ask to remember them the next morning. Because although a lot of healing does take place in our sleep state, you know, you want to be able to remember it the next day. So ask for that specifically as you set your intention and you go to sleep. When you wake up, see if something pops into your head immediately. Maybe you assess your dream, write down your dream, but see if something actually starts coming out of you, and write down whatever it is that's coming to you. And it might take a little while. You might get some weird stuff. Like even now, I get some weird words that I can't even fathom what that could have possibly meant. But as I go through the day and I look back, and sometimes over several days, they do actually start to make sense, and you're going to start getting answers. And as you do this, your answers are going to get more refined. They're going to get sharper. They're probably even going to get more concise and shorter. So once you do that and you have your message, you can start to expand on that throughout the day. So when you wake up in the morning and you have your little message, maybe you want to sit down in the afternoon or before dinner and start expanding on it, and just let things flow. Even if the stuff isn't necessarily making sense, that's okay. Just keep going and keep writing. And you're going to notice that you get into this state of where you look back at your words later and you don't even feel like you wrote them. And I know for me, that's definitely the case. So that's actually all I have for you. That was really what I wanted to bring out, was tuning into your dream state and bringing it into a state of writing. So if you have any questions for me, like we'll be doing the question and answer afterward, but I do specialize channeled writing and editing. And actually about half the people in this group of channelers right now, I've either already edited a book for, or I'm writing a book for, or I'm editing a book for. And I do this in my channeled state. So this is one thing that makes me unique as a book editor and writer, is helping spiritual people get their message out into the world. Because it's really important to me that when you, since most of you are channels, well, everybody's a channel, but since most of these channeled works are coming out, it's really important that when you're collaborating on things like this, they can tune in together. So if you are interested in knowing more, my website's catwanders.com. It's pretty easy, but cat spelled with a Q, Q-A-T, there's no U. And that's all I have for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Kat. And last but not least, certainly, we have David Strickle. It's an honor to have you here. David has a body of work available online known as The Stream of David. Tell us about that.
Hi, everybody. Very, very pleased to be here. And this energy is insane today. It's just flowing through me. And I have to tell you that at the very beginning, when we did the collective meditation, I have an automatic watch that runs kinetically, and my watch stopped. And I channel all the time wearing this watch, and that's never happened before. And you can hear it in my voice right now. This isn't nerves, this is excitement. The energy is just absolutely off the charts today. And this has just been quite an amazing experience. I'm very, very thrilled and honored to be part of it. So first of all, I do channel a group of entities that I refer to as the Stream. My website is thestreamofdavid.com. I also have a Facebook group called The Power of Forgiveness. The teachings that we do are very much geared toward people that have tried to use the law of attraction. They've been to the Abraham workshops, they've listened to my podcasts, they've read The Secret, and they still come up short, not really understanding what the laws of the universe are all about and how to live their best lives with this knowledge. So the course that we offer is Stream of Abundance Breakthroughs. And it's all about doing the work to go back and forgive, whether you're forgiving someone that did something wrong to you, or you're forgiving your past, a situation or a circumstance, or if you need to forgive yourself, or all of the above. We work on that first to release all of the abundance blocks. And whatever your version of abundance is, we help guide you to your personal power to be able to achieve that for the rest of your life. The next thing that I want to shill while I'm here speaking before the stream comes through is that I'll be at Mystic Journey in LA next month, May 19th. I'm doing a live workshop. So if you're in the LA area, you can come and interact live with the stream. And there's nothing that I enjoy more than bringing the stream out in a live situation where they are asked any questions. Nothing is off limits. There's absolutely nothing taboo to them, and we can talk about anything. And it's just an absolutely amazing experience when all of this new information comes through. And of course, I'm speaking to a lot of channels here, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's my favorite thing to do. And I'm going to start doing that as often as possible. And the next one is in LA on May 19th at Mystic Journey. I also do have a book coming out. Kat is my editor. It's been a wonderful experience working with Kat. And the book is called The Stream of David, 23 Core Messages from Higher Consciousness. So that will be published hopefully in early summer soon. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with the world. The 23 core messages really bounce all over the place, from existences on other planets, other realms, what the energetic field is all about, and then a whole lot of human guidance from the stream. So really excited to get that out there. And also, finally, I will be channeling again live tomorrow in my Facebook group, The Power of Forgiveness. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific, and that's going to be more of a Q&A format. So now, if you'll give me just a moment, it does take a little bit for the stream to get going. I'll hopefully not use up my whole 10 minutes just bringing them in. But trust me, you can tell just by my energy right now, they're here, they're raring to go, and I'm sure they have something great that they're going to share with you. You're here. It's very often that David sets an intention for us to come and speak to a specific topic. But today we are off leash. We can speak to anything that we wish. We would like to first say that we are flowing through each of you on the panel and listening, even if at a later date. The collective energy here is high. This is a glorious experience. In the time limit that we have, that we will do our best to stick to, we would like to clarify, since you have heard a variety of messages today, that they are indeed all coming from Source, that they are indeed all authentic, and it is important that we repeat that the variations that you have encountered in the collective of these messages are absolutely all authentic, because you each exist in your own bubble of reality. What is right for you, what you are attracted to, may not be what is right for another. It takes a variety of channels, a tapestry of souls, to appeal to the masses, the collective of those who are asking for this type of interaction. On some level, all of humanity is asking. Some reach the place while they are physically manifested, where they are able to make this type of connection, to raise their vibration to the highest level, to understand their world, to understand their ego, to understand their own positive and negative actions, understanding that positive and negative will always coexist, for they both serve a purpose. It is important for us that you understand that positive is absolutely more powerful than negative, and always will be. Positive always wins, but negative always inspires new creation. That is why you come to this physically manifested existence, to experience both. You know when you come to this life exactly what you're getting yourselves into. You are coming with the intention of experiencing the freedom and joy that you exist in your non-physical state. Yet you understand, at least part of manifesting, that you are going to place obstacles in your paths, some minor, some great, and that those obstacles indeed are there for you to overcome and expand your consciousness here on earth, expand the wholeness of who you are, your eternal beingness, your soul, which is part of Source, part of us. And that expansion that you create by overcoming your obstacles not only expands your soul, but contributes to the expansion of Source. And that is why you choose to manifest and come to this beautiful world and experience all of it, the positive and the negative. And our desire in coming here and utilizing this channel in this time of increasing vibration on planet Earth is for each of you to raise your vibration to a place where you understand, not only understand, but empathize, and not only empathize, but appreciate not only the very best of your society from your perspective, but the very worst. You do not have to appreciate their actions, but if you appreciate their contribution, you will live a more joyous life here on earth. You will in that moment be connected to us, to Source, and you will absolutely contribute to the increasing vibration here on earth and beyond. We hope that our words have helped in this very brief time. We are happy to answer questions at any time that you wish to interact with us. For now, that is all we have. Hi. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That was amazing. You guys are all amazing, and I'm so honored to have you all here, as I've said several times already, but I can't stop saying it because I'm just enjoying your presence and the gifts that you're sharing so much. So it's time for a Q&A. If anybody on the panel or anybody in the audience would like to ask some questions, you can raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to ask a question to all of you and let whomever wants to respond, because I'm going to channel our collective audience right now. I think that some of the questions that come up in people who would like to learn to access their gifts, whether that be writing, inspired writing, mediumship, channeling or what have you. I think the biggest issue is trust. And I know Daniel touched on that before, that we're so afraid of being wrong. I think that's huge when it comes to teaching mediumship. You know, and even the most amazing mediums that I've had the pleasure of learning from have all had to overcome that fear of being wrong. How do we shift from the fear of putting ourselves out there to the ability to set ourselves aside and work as ambassadors for the spirit world and let ourselves be the messenger and take the focus of the message itself off of us, the responsibility in a sense for the message off of us, and allow it to flow? Does anybody have any tips for allowing it? Because I think, you know, fear is the big deal in terms of learning mediumship or learning channeling. And not only the fear of being wrong or the fear of looking stupid and the fear of, you know, what are my friends going to say if they find out that I'm channeling an alien or what have you? You know, am I going to be persecuted for coming out of the spiritual closet? And besides that, people have a lot of fears in terms of, do I have to protect my energy? Am I going to have some negative being around me? People think about things like that. And I know a lot of us say it's not so much about protection, although we have routines that we do, whether it be prayer or surrounding ourselves in white light, calling in Archangel Michael, etc. We do grounding work. We always surround everything we do in light and love. And we say it's more about connection with higher energy than protection, right? But we probably all have some things that we do to surround ourselves in the highest energies. Who would like to speak to that? How do we help people overcome those fears connected with starting in this work?
I have part of an answer, Cheryl. This is Stacy. One of the things for me, I remember coming out of the spiritual closet, was really scary. I was on a TV show, so it was very well known. The TV show was not really going in alignment with truth. And so that is one reason why my husband and I got out of that environment, because I'm all about truth. And so it was very scary. We had a lot of followers on social media. But for me, I kept going back to knowing, and I don't know why all of a sudden I feel very emotional with saying this, but knowing that my God is inside of me, my truth is inside of me, Source God is in with each and every one of us. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, what I went through was not about me. It was all about how I was going to be able to help other people. I know that I had to go through breast cancer. I know that I had to have all of that stuff happen to me. My first husband died in a plane crash. My second husband died of cancer. My family was all spread apart. I knew that all of that stuff, no matter how bad it got, it was all because it was teaching me how to get to the next level so that I could help others that have been in those similar shoes and are saying, why me? Why did I have to go through this crap and get stuck? They get stuck. And so for me to know that all of that was given to me or spooned up or laid out or whatever you want to call it, aligned into my reality so that I could help other people. So I know that God gave that to me to help other people. It was not about me. And so I go back into my own heart space and I trust that God is going to protect me and help me to be the best person I can be, to bless as many people as I can bless. Do I get fearful at times? Absolutely. We're human. And then we go, you know what? All right. Nope. My God is bigger than that. And I get right back up and I know that even if I make a mistake, sometimes we look back and go, wow, that was not a mistake at all. That was exactly what that other person needed to hear or do or be or whatever that was. And in my 9-week program that I teach, we talk all about trust and allow. And so many people get caught up on, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it correctly? And I'm saying to you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. If you're watching this video, if you're participating in this event, your spirit team led you here. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And they are so excited for you that you trusted enough that they nudged you to come and be on this thing. So right there is step number 1. You trusted enough what you felt, heard, heard, seen, whatever, all the above, to be here today.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Kat, did you want to share something? Kat with a K?
Just kind of on the coattails of what Stacy was saying, when we were getting ready to, get up and rolling, I channeled this thing that came through. It's just everything being exactly as it should. Things are perfect, and it is from this place of seeming discomfort that true illumination occurs and all barriers become non-existent. So a reminder that all of this that we perceive with our physical senses as being intimidating or being more than we feel we can handle it doesn't really matter. It's an illusion, and it's easy to say versus integrate. And I understand the difference and the challenge there, but when we open up and allow, and we do come from that place of love, we've had so much focus on love today, but when we do offer our gifts from that place of love, they're never gonna steer wrong, ever. And so often, the less sense it makes to us, the more it is that whomever we're speaking with, it's something that they need to hear. And, I feel like we've probably all had our trust issues that we've had to deal with when we've started working with others and, sharing our channeled messages and sharing the things that we just know so deeply. And it is taking ourselves out of the equation, because if we don't offer that, that's what's selfish, and that's where we're putting things at risk and compromising our own truth and compromising our ability to give and love. And any of us who feel drawn to this, that is what we are here to do. That is such an integral part of our purpose. And it gets to that point where, when does the pain of keeping it to yourself become lessened by the desire and that internal drive to share and to give and to just be human, be spiritual beings in these human bodies, and enable one another to uplift and to connect and to grow on such unimaginable levels. So it's, when it comes down to trust, there's nothing to lose, absolutely nothing, and everything to gain.
Very nice. Would anyone else like to add something to the conversation or ask a question? Vanessa, and then Daniel.
And Shanice too.
And
She said it
Shanice?
first.
Okay.
Yeah, you go first. You said it first.
Yes.
You go first.
Okay.
Oh, am I on now?
Yep, that's you.
Okay. Well, first of all, yeah, Stacy was speaking, and Kat, and everything that they said completely aligns with what I was going to share. So I'm actually not going to share what I had in mind when I said I had something to share. But 2 things came to mind. One is because of the the fact that when you're afraid of, am I going to say the wrong thing, that is coming from the small you that's not aware of your connection with source. Aligning with the fact that, wait a second, there is this divine source that orchestrates everything that can use me, that if I align with, then I don't even have to worry about anything. Like, that's what I was kind of inspired to share about very quickly. So a way to align with that is an affirmation that I love. It's, I listen, I trust, I take divinely guided action, because you are affirming in the present state that you listen, which is actually helping you align with hearing. I trust, which is great because I feel a lot of the old modality has a lot of like prove it to me energy. And as Wayne Dyer has said before, and I think other people have said before, like, you can't plant the seed and go like, grow, you know, or like, I'll plant the seed if you grow first. Like, it doesn't work that way. You've got to trust. And so saying I trust helps you align with that. And then I take divinely guided action helps you, helps remind you, wait a second, okay, I'm divinely guided. My action is going to be divinely guided. And so if I hear, if I'm affirming that I hear divine guidance, and I'm trusting the guidance that I hear, and then I move where I'm inspired to move, or say what I'm inspired to say, then my information cannot be wrong. And then the second thing that I was shown, which I hope you guys Google this because I will probably get the story wrong, but it's the story called, it's the cracked pot. It's the story of, there was an older gentleman who, I guess he would carry a rod on his shoulders that would have a pot at each end. And there's this one pot that's like, master, you know, why do you want to use me? Like, I'm cracked, I'm not perfect. And every day this, you know, this master would walk this certain route with these two pots on his shoulder. And then the master said to the pot, don't you know? And then he basically showed the pot that he carried the pot on the side where the flowers would grow. Please look this up. I'm sure I'm getting this wrong. But so this is just to say that the master in the story is a representative of source, who knows who you are, who knows your abilities. And this master had this pot on the side where it would be most beneficial. And so on the side of this cracked pot that was full of water, it was actually watering the flowers. And so there's just beautiful path of flowers. So that's just my, to me, that image that was sent to me, just as a reference to you. Trust me, the source knows you more than you know you. If you do your best to align, if you come from a loving place, you will be guided to say the right thing. And I think, just like Kat said, it might sound crazy, but it's going to make sense to the person that you're saying it to. And then the beautiful thing is that you get the confirmation from that, like, wow, you know, this felt weird. I didn't know I should say this, but I did. And the person told me that this is just what they needed to hear. And that's going to help reaffirm that trust. So that is what I wanted to give to you guys. Really look up the Cracked Pot poem. It's beautiful. It's going to be worded a lot better than what I just did. That's what I wanted to share.
Nice. Thank you, Shanice. And let's go to Daniel and then Vanessa.
Yeah, what I was called to share. So you're going to be scared when you first do it. I think it's kind of ridiculous when people are like, you're not going to be scared, you're going to feel like it's all right. I'm like, I don't know, the first time I did a tarot card reading in the park when I was half homeless I was super scared. One, I needed money to eat, but also because like I knew how to put myself out there. So like, just being scared's okay. And thinking you're going to do it wrong. And like the first time you do anything, you're going to be scared. So the idea that we're going to like remove all these blocks and not be scared and then do our first reading is just ridiculous. You're probably going to be shaking and scared out of your mind, but then it'll just get a little easier over time. It's like skydiving. You're really, really scared, but the jump is really fun.
You're channeling me now, Daniel. That's exactly what I was going to say. I actually am a skydiver. I haven't jumped in a few years now since I had kids, but I jumped out of airplanes 333 times. It's my favorite number. And I was scared every time, but it was worth doing. And I'll tell you something, the moment you're out of the door, you feel nothing but joy because you're completely in the moment. And Daniel, I also love that you brought up the card thing again too, because I didn't want to keep talking before, but you were talking about, you had the Pokemon card. And that speaks to one of the things that people get afraid about. Like people hear that some of the people in our group use tarot cards and they're like, oh, is that evil? You know, no, it's a tool and it's all about intention. So whether you're using angel cards or oracle cards or tarot cards or a pendulum or Pokemon cards, it's all about intention. And I'm sure that you can all sense, everybody who's listening to this now or in the future can sense that we're all coming from a place of light and love. We're all coming from a place of high vibrational energy and of good intention. And we're all putting ourselves out there to help others. So whatever tools you choose to use and however you choose to use your gifts, when you come with that heart that is open and genuine and vulnerable in a sense, but focused on the highest good of all and willing to take that leap of faith. And that is how you build the faith, is by taking that leap of faith over and over again and building trust. All right. And when you come from that place of intention that is for the highest good of all, that's all you need to do. You know, you just have to take that leap and go for it. Vanessa, and then I know some people are chatting as well. So go ahead, Vanessa, and I'll see if somebody else wants to speak after that.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? There's a weird dead spot in my kitchen. I want to make sure. Okay. I can speak a lot to self-trust. It's a huge, huge button of mine. And it's one of the deepest soul themes I see in every single person who's ever drawn to do any sort of healing or intuitive work. And it's because, as many of you have mentioned, we have a huge history of being persecuted for doing this work, being gaslit to believe we were wrong. That we were evil, that we messed things up, that we caused harm. I mean, our souls are carrying a lot of past life trauma around being healers, being intuitives, being mediums. So in this life, everyone I work with who has any inkling of interest in this has a huge amount of fear around, trusting themselves. And what if I screw it up? And you guys already all covered it. Like it is about intention. It's about knowing, feeling within you what your yes and no is. Does it feel like it's for the highest good of all? If there's any bit of like fear or doubt that is coming through in the message, that might be your ego kind of speaking. And it takes a while to discern the two. I teach a lot of mediumship classes around this. And I think the biggest thing is, I think, as Daniel said, like the fear it never really goes away fully. Like for me, it's just repeatedly jumping off the cliff over and over and over, which is just like skydiving. That's the image I get because cliffs mean something to me. But every single time, and I've been doing this work for over a decade, and I still get nervous and I still wonder, what if I don't have the right words? But what your group said about, it doesn't matter if what you say, the message that you're channeling is a little different from somebody else's channeling the same person or being, because it's what's true for you and what resonates for you. And I learned that the hard way because of this particular group, these celebrities that I was channeling. The messages that were coming through, they weren't spoken, as you guys probably heard, they didn't have like, that's totally that person. It was more higher level message coming through. So I'm like, how do I know this is really them? And what if I'm making it up? And I had to put all that aside, and I got scolded on this by my guides. They're like, you need to let this go, and realize that it's the message, the vibration that was coming through that was the most important. It didn't matter if it sounded specifically like Jonathan Brandis. That doesn't matter. It was coming from his soul, but the message was higher vibration. I had to let go of my concern around the right wording, and is this really his wording, or did I put something in there? And it's a lot about healing my ego and my fear and my doubt. And I'm going to make a huge fool of myself. And what am I doing? People are going to laugh at me. They're going to they're going to think I'm doing this out of my own ego. And there's a lot of fear about this. I had to come out of the closet repeatedly around doing this work because it was scary. So I think self-trust is a lifelong journey for healers and mediums and intuitives. It's just always going to be there. And it's It's about learning your, like I said, learning your feeling of yes and no. And when you're receiving information and stepping into the stream, stepping in and out of the stream and flow of info becomes more discernible the more you practice. It's a muscle. You have to just keep practicing, flowing in and out, bringing things through, trusting as it comes. And the more you kind of let go of your doubts and fears, and even if they're not going away, just put them in a box and be like, I see you, I hear you, sit over there and be quiet and let it happen. That muscle gets stronger and stronger. And pretty soon you're kind of like, I'm actually doing this. All right. And it gets a little easier. And like I said, you're always going to be skydiving. You're always going to be jumping off the cliff, but you have to take those first steps. You just have to put the ego aside, the little fear aside, and kind of be like, you know what? If I make a huge fool of myself, I make a fool of myself. It's cool. Everybody's done it. I will survive. I will not die. That's what I had to do. So that was my little piece, because this has been a huge button for me. So I'm glad you asked it, Cheryl, because it's a really big one.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking. I'm taking it all the time.
I think it's big for a lot of people, you know, getting over the fear or feeling the fear and doing it anyway, really, is it? And, that's thunder. I was going to say it's a beautiful day. It just started thundering. Before we started the questions, Jesse said, LOL, I was thinking of asking, how do we build our faith? So we spoke to that, and Liza had to leave, but just as I was speaking, I told you she and I are always on the same wavelength. This is what she put in the group chat here. She said she'd like to add something. And then she said, Cheryl, I actually have to go. Thanks for holding this space for us all. I'd add that intention is everything. That's exactly what I was saying. And then she said, cultivate your internal space to find the trust to express yourself in your external space, which is a beautiful thought. So it is after 5 o'clock. I want to thank you all once again for being here. And I want to add that one of the ways to really build your trust in yourself and in your connection with the spirit world is to be part of a community. You know, and it's been such an honor to be a part of this community today and to have that relationship with so many other spiritual entrepreneurs and light workers who are doing so much good in the world. As you heard, many of us have Facebook groups or coaching programs. The information is all within everybody's 10-minute time allotment. So go back and think about the people that resonated with you the best and reach out to those people, because we all serve as coaches and teachers, and we can help guide you along the path. If you're listening to this and you want to have somebody help you to take the next step on your journey, reach out to one of us, join a Facebook group, become a part of a spiritual community if you don't already have one in your physical area. There's so much that you can do online these days. Take advantage of that. And know that we're here to support you. You have lots of support. You're never alone. And I want to just thank everybody for being what David's stream called a tapestry of souls. That was beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.